Well, what Marbles does is it takes in furniture, electrical goods, bric-a-brac, clothes, any unwanted goods, anything that's unwanted that's in good condition, and we collect it for free.
Somebody's either passed away or left, moved to another property.
I think that's the first time I've come across an Aquarius washing machine. So I'm not sure what make they are though. Right, that's it.
Whatever you think is rubbish, someone will come along and think, I could do with one of them. I've just been looking for one of them.
Phone call, I've got a piece of furniture, can you come and pick it up? That's the first bit. So somebody's got to be there to take that phone call, write down the details, organise a time when that's going to happen. And then you need a driver who's got to know those details, who's got to go out and be polite to the customer and pick the furniture up and not drag the wallpaper off the walls. And they've got to bring it back. And undoubtedly a piece of furniture that's been in somebody's home needs cleaning and sorting, maybe repairing, maybe you've got to repaint it or revarnish it. So this is quite labour intensive. The great thing about that is you need a lot of people who commit to doing a particular job. So you've got somebody that commits to doing the phone calls, working in the shop, drivers that go out in a little team to pick the furniture up, somebody that's repairing it, somebody that's pricing it, somebody that's looking after it when it's with Marbles, somebody that's selling it, somebody that's organising it to be delivered out to the customer that's bought it. So that means there's an awful lot of different roles for anybody. Anybody could work at Marbles. There's something for everybody. In terms of mental health, if you get somebody come along who's been through a really difficult time, maybe they're on the road to recovery, but they just can't make that step between being on benefits and going back to work. Well, within Marbles, there's so many different angles that you can actually find something that really fits everybody, a little role for everybody.
Marbles have done for me as a worker, and the clients that I work with, is giving them a chance that no other employer would. I've had quite a few of the clients on my books for quite a while, and I would still have those clients on my books if it wasn't for Marbles, because they are, as I said, extremely long-term mental health clients who had really given up hope. And as a worker, there's only so much you can do on your own and with the client. But with Marbles, it's working hand in hand, and then actually working with us, talking to us, so we can help and encourage the client. But Marbles have done something different. They've taken them in. And without Marbles, I would have had 5 clients on my books and I'd have still been looking.
I realised that it's a fantastic way of people that have not been in work for a while, for whatever reason, they need to build their confidence. So there's lots of opportunities here where people can just start off in a very quiet way. And because everybody's been in the same kind of situation, we know how they're feeling. So everyone helps each other and everyone becomes a family. It's become a family rather than a business. And there has been quite a few people gone off and got into full-time employment.
I couldn't get a job. I couldn't. I was doing voluntary work at Compton and I thought, I want to work, I do want to work, but because of my mental health past, my anxiety and depression, like I said, I've been on antidepressants now about 25 years, I couldn't get a job. And I noticed that they ask questions like, do you suffer from mental health on the application forms, and I was always scared to fill it in because I'd have to go down that road. What I did, you know, because I've self-harmed. I've been in Hallam Street, I've been in bushy fields, and there was no support. There was none at all. They'd let me back home, and I just have to cope on my own.
If I hadn't have found marbles, I'd probably be in the ditch.
You stay on the dole long enough, you forget about how work actually makes you feel. And so I come up with this plan to make a comeback. You know, I knew I had to do something, and marbles came along, perfect timing, really, as if it was laid out, to be honest.
Because that's what needs to happen with mental illness. People need not to be afraid of it, and people need to understand that it can happen to anybody. And if it can happen to the world champion, it literally can happen to anybody.
It could be your brother, it could be your father, it could be your sister, it could be your mother, it could be your kids, it could be anybody involved in your family. So they're less precious off now. It's nice that people can not bottle it up and just stay indoors with it and not come out or go to seek help somewhere. So it's nice that people are talking about it and making it more of aware, because it's a powerful thing and it's happening up and down the country.
When I was young, nobody knew what it was called, so I'd go to bed for a few days at a time. Like I was hibernating, so I had all kinds of blood tests. Epstein Bar and Grill was the last, I call it that, was my last diagnosis. But in my mother's time, they really didn't know what it was. They said my mother's having a turn. You know, she's having a change of life. And I said, yeah, for 87 years. So they did know what it was. Then when I had my third child, somebody said, luckily, clinical depression. And then we could start looking for medication.
Seeing all the stories and hearing all the stories today about certain people being discriminated against because they've had a nervous breakdown, suffer from depression, you know what I mean, got themselves into trouble with the law, got a criminal record, got themselves involved in drugs, got themselves involved in drink. And Kevin said, put that aside, bring them in on board and don't look at them off their record, just look at them as a human being and taking them. It's a very, very amazing story. And there's grown-up people telling stories, and there's people who've been in the mental health business themselves, you know what I mean, telling the stories. It's unbelievable, and they're not make-believe fairy tale stories, they're from the roots heart.
I didn't know it gave employment to people with mental illness, and I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed because for 5 years I've been talking about walk-in centers, but he even topped that. Not just a walk-in center, but giving them employment. I never thought of that. It's really impressive.
You've only got to put on a job application form they've got mental health issues, and you wouldn't even get an answer back from most places. So just getting an interview for some of these people is a major achievement, let alone anything else. And what happens is their confidence is, what dawned on me, their confidence grows so much just by belonging somewhere and somebody accepting them into the fold, if you like. And their confidence grows.
Without any government intervention, without any government funding, this has grown. And it's grown out of the hard work and the sweat of local people, for local people.